Where's the? Wait, not here so, not here so, or here so much, but right along that region. Ooh, I'm early, so. A wizard is never late nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he's meant to. My family, we're back. Part two. It's a lot of information. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a recap of the information that was rushed in the last video because some of it I just didn't do it justice to. And then we're going to get into all this new, lovely, yummy information that is, so validating, at least for your brother. So first things first, let's welcome everybody in. Where are you showing up from? Your brother's here. We're here, my family. We're getting the band back together. We're getting the Knights of the Round Table back together. We already are together. So many miracles. I am so excited about talking about on Sunday in the patron sessions. And I will see you all in 2 days for the half monthly readings. Sybil's here. Sorry. Sybil! Why? No, I'm sorry. She's like, why what? Love you, sister. Welcome. Carrie Lynn, who's here? Sherry, Cindy Lou, Katie Rose. Oh my God. Sister Veronique, welcome. Carol, Sister Soul. Oh my God. There's a tree in the way, Sister Soul. Sorry, I was not the most fluid spin today. Denise, I love you so much. I love you all. If I missed any names, there's a lot of people. Catherine, Katarina, Arturo. If somebody tells me what movie that's from, I'm gonna send you $1 from PayPal. Oh God, just the first person. Oh God, it's a jam. It's my jam. We'll put it on a time frame because no Googling it. Everyone's going to Google it. It doesn't count. You got to know from memory. I'll give you 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. It's one of my favorite romantic comedies. Who's got it? Katarina? No? Anyone? No, no one has it. Overboard. The correct answer that you were looking for was Overboard. If you haven't seen it, don't judge your brother, but it's a classic. Goldie Hawn, in her prime. Oh my God, Kurt Russell. Oh, it's a good one. Family. Sherry gets $1. Sherry's like, I don't want your $1, kiddo. I can feel her already. She's like, keep your $1. I don't know why in my brain you sound so Italian, but here we are. Okay, after the weirdest intro ever, let's turn on screen sharing. Okay, intro 333. I'm writing down the times now so I can get your thumbnails up right away. Eric White, I don't know who you are, but I freaking love you right now. I want to hug you for that one. Can we take the phone? Share screen. Here we go, my family. We're doing this. This is the way. Do you know the way? This is the way, my family. Oh, before we do that, what is any intro without saying hello to Groot in the bush? Okay, so that's done. All right, Pop. Is it this one? Is it that one? Is that one? Okay. Share screen. Let's do this. First things first. Am I in the right folder? Yes, I am. Okay. All righty. So, right here. So, this picture was taken yesterday. Ooh, was he driving when I took the picture? Maybe. So, to anyone who lives in the Prescott area or has driven through Prescott, what do we see here? So So I don't know if you guys are noticing the, sorry about that. Right there, not there, but I don't know if you're noticing right along this region, that's not a normal shaped mountain. So what I was noticing while I was driving was something that I've seen probably 50 times, and it never stood out to me until this upload, this download, this information was integrated. Like I said, this was just taken yesterday. Spirit wanted me to go to Prescott and get some errands done. And as I'm driving, I'm just like, ah! And I was like, I was not driving with my knee, but I might have been with one hand. Yeah, that's right there. Okay, so we're gonna shut that down. And we're gonna get into the presentation. I want to go over Tane a little bit more. But yeah, you saw that picture. So are you noticing the tree stumps that were petrified in your neighborhood? And we're going to go over this recap right now. I want to go through Tane really quickly. There's our brother right there. Brother, father, creator, epic energy right there. Not that it's not mama. It's still mama, but what came from mama, which is like, this is a lot of the information that wants to be hidden from you. Everyone wants to show you an old white man with a beard. Zeus. Which is not your real god. There'll be a video on that later because it is loaded, my family, and I have evidence. So there we go. There's a picture of Tane. Now we're just going to quickly, I want to recap the story because I told you about Tane in the last video, but like I said, I did not do him justice. So according to the Maori people, this is their god. Their god is a god of nature. And let's read the story right here. Tane is a figure of great importance in tribal traditions. Tane separated earth and sky and brought this world into being. He fashioned the first human. He adorned the heavens and brought the baskets of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding down from the sky to human beings. So this is what is believed from these ancient tribes that I believe is in New Zealand. I think it's in New Zealand, but it's that down south, down yonder, over there in that Australian area. Australia in the house. I love you all so much. Carry Lynn for the win. Have you noticed that we won? All right, moving on. One more here, okay? One more slide here before we finish this recap. So right now, what we're talking about is a masculine dryad. We're talking about these tree figures, a.k.a. your Groot, these energies and these things that we've been seeing here all over the place. So right here it says, Tane creates the world of light. Let's hear the story. The oldest of 6 siblings, Tane Mahuta, grew tired of living in darkness, closed between his sky father and his earth mother. He decided to push them apart, and in doing so, created the world of light we live in today. Oh my God, that feels good. So he is called Tane Mahuta as god of the forest. Tane Wanaganga. I can't say that. Sorry, Tane. As the bringer of knowledge and whatever that says, bringer of higher consciousness. Okay, so we are done with those slides. We're going to go back to this. But for now, let's fix that camera. And let's keep on going here, my family. Oh, God, this is so exciting. All right, so more things I wanted to recap from the comments. Big shout out to Jim McDowell. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm hearing an Irish name, too. Very epic, because that's what we're kind of talking about is those Druid people. Big shout out to my brother. I've seen you for years. You've been here for years. You support the channel. I don't even know. You've been here the whole time, brother. I love you so much. What I wanted to say about Jim, Jim wrote in the comments of the last video, I see you, brother, Swamp Thing. Of all the things for me to forget about, I forgot about nerding out on comic books. What are the odds? So Jim was saying Swamp Thing would warp through the swamp because this is what we talked about in part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll probably link it into the description later if you haven't seen part 1 of this. But Jim was saying that, and I loved that. And then I was even sitting with Narnia later, and the fact that the wardrobe is made of wood, and just like all of that, and what was inside that seemed to go from one reality, one dimensional place to another dimensional place by going through this wardrobe, which is made of this magical wood, obviously. So there we go. Recap. All right. So now we're going to go here 10 minutes. We'll call it 10 minutes, 8 seconds. That's what it said when I looked. So moving on. All right. We're going to get to these star forts today. I promise you, family. We're only at 10 minutes. We've got plenty of time. Okay. So, oh, God. The integration of the meditation that we did the other day. Wow. Just wow. Just wow. I love you all so freaking much. Holy wow. So normally in the past, when I would speak about something in these videos, when I would speak about something to the public, things would almost feel like they got weakened. Things would feel dilapidated, if you will. It would feel like the energy was sucked out of some of the stuff. I woke up the next day, but fully integrated into this like tree essence, this tree being, and maybe not fully integrated, but fully integrated at this epic point of things were amplified. Things were not weakened as they were before. So I don't know what you guys were noticing, but as we sit with this integration, and I mean, I've been, like, you guys have seen this silver on my wrist for a while. This is the I Am Greek root off my website. Not plugging the website, just letting you know what spirits have me integrating is this knowledge of loading up the 3 frequencies of gunpowder, which is either selenite or aragonite or certain calcites that have saltpeter, pyrite having the sulfur, and shungite having the charcoal and the carbon. These are the 3 parts scientifically that are in gunpowder. So what Spirit gave me this download all this time ago now was loading the gunpowder behind the jet, because jet is fossilized tree wood. So like it totally slipped my mind that I was even wearing this when I spoke to you guys the other day. So this also had to be part of a like recap part 2. This all getting integrated, and all of this that has been integrated throughout all of us, and this knowledge returning to the people, this knowledge of the old language, how the language got just ruined, purposefully messed up, which is it needs an entire other video series in itself. But sitting with what these tree roots are doing as this root goes out the bottom foot, and this ball of brambles that is below your feet, whether you're looking at the earth as flat, whether you're looking at the earth as a contact lens, or whether you're looking at the earth as a sphere, to have this power of this energy under your feet, and to actually use your foot to send down this energy. And now, mind you, to do the energy work that I'm speaking of right now, the goal is to have this just be automatic. The goal is to have this be second nature, automatic, and have this just be happening in your field. And it might sound a little scary at first, but I promise you it's not scary. So first of all, we need to talk about light bending. Okay, yes, he talks about this stuff live on camera. Look at that. All right, so when energy is sent in a coil, okay? So when energy is sent in a moving circuit, so this is going to be going, just to make sure you're lined up properly here and you're seeing this, in case the camera's flipping this, it's going to be clockwise and forward. So when energy, light, is sent in these directions, okay? So when energy is going towards something, this can go straight through solid matter. This is what was communicated to me back in 2017. I was talking about this on Facebook and literally having people contact me saying, if you don't shut your mouth, bad things will happen. And I was like, I'm right here. I was like, I don't have to worry about this stuff, because you take me out, my family's going to go crazy. Trust me. So anyways, this light bending, this being able to pass right through a being, this is what we're seeing in basically in Civil War, when you see Vision just go right through Ant-Man, and we don't see that he's moving his cells like this. But to have energy move through, to have something that is physical, light, because I know light doesn't seem physical, but I promise you it's physical. It's hexagonal in nature, and since we've been talking about how light is hexagonal, oh gosh, so much information here. Since we've been talking about how light is hexagonal, I've actually noticed in some pictures it's no longer hexagonal and it has a 7th side. So these are slides for another video once again. But if you look at how light shows up in camera photos, in pictures, you'll see that it is hexagonal in nature. which saying something's hexagonal is very interesting, which means it is nature. It's from nature. And we see the 6 sides, but it's really not 6-sided because we're seeing 6 sides, but the light is traveling. There's a front and there has to be a back. So it's actually at least 7 or 8-sided. Once again, conversation for another day, but just I gotta leave these little tidbits for my family so your brain can go, ooh, and you can get your downloads and uploads, and we can share these all, and we get stronger together, and we integrate all this information together. So anyways, so as the light is going and light bending, which passes right through physical matter, which is something that was shown to me way back in 2017. Like I said, weird, vague threats came in. I just like, whatever, like I'm not worried about this. But talking about this, if you watch a sapling, if you watch a plant or small tree grow and you take a photo of it, say every 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, what you'll notice is this is how the tree grows. It literally is going to grow the exact same way. It's going to grow with Fibonacci spiral. It's going to grow with that movement, my family. Okay, so having this magic take over my field, having this magic be something that I've integrated, knowing that just like literally you can't land in the tree. You can't land in the tree. Those trees are ours. That's our magic. So basically, the demons are going to get pretty tired. That's what I just wanted to say today, because they won't be able to land in the trees. They won't be able to land in the buildings. They won't be able to land anywhere around any of my family because they will get pulled right back into the underworld where they belong. Welcome to Galactic Tarot, my family. So you can literally picture this. Like the old rules are gone, just so you know. Like you can sit with this. You don't have to do what I'm talking about right now, but to my family that can hear me right now, we don't have to leave these things. It's almost just like if this is in somebody's field and your field's going through my field, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you wanted to have that demon, it's like, you just be warned, like integrate that and pull that into your heart. Because if it's in the field and it's going through my field, it's gone. Roots, boom, pull it right back under that earth. Because this is once again something we've been seeing from the Dryads, from the trees, is a lot of these trees were purposefully destroyed when I find the literature to allow these demons to get out here, to change the structure of the oxygen, to change the structure of the sound vibration that our ears just got so used to hearing. You can pull on my wing, I don't really care. To get used to this basically new structure where we're missing these oxygens and these scents and these sounds that we're just missing. And when we see this Avatar movie, and we see this tree come down, how like my Syrian family, my Druid family, my ancient family that's been here and is here to save this planet and continue to save this planet, no matter how many incarnations it takes, without going through this weird possession, broken stuff that you hear on a lot of people's channels where they're like, I'm here now and then I'm leaving and I'm not coming back here. This place is a crap hole. No, it's not. This is heaven on earth. This is our spaceship is under your feet, my family. And when we have these thoughts of like, get me out of here, this is my last, there's plenty of stuff that wants to just would love to have the beautiful vessel that you're sitting in, watching this in right now. And this leaves the vessel more open to possessions. This is just my belief structure, honest and truly. Ground yourself, ground your feet, activate the roots, pull yourself into your suit, and don't leave room for any of this stuff. There's literally energy swirling all around me right now. They're like, he's doing it, Peter. So your heart starts to race at night, whether you're using the arrow trick that I taught on October 1st, or you're using these roots, you clear that field, my family. This is your space. Your space is the space that's around you. So if you're feeling something that you know is energetic, take back control over your field. Take back control over your temple. Take back control over your space. And by take back control, this might be the first time in this incarnation that you've done this, but that is your space. And mark my words, your heart will start racing. So as I've been doing this and literally just walking around like everywhere I'm going, everywhere I'm driving, and this literally becoming second nature, this just becoming part of the integration of my field is just like, oh. And I'm not saying this is going to start right away. This is something I've been working at for, I don't know, a year. I guess, what would be the Wayback Machine? You can check when the I Am Group bracelet came out. So before that, like a month or two. Thank you to my brother Bo, by the way, for helping that download come in, upload, wherever it came from. Anyways, moving on. Love you so much, brother. Okay, so yeah, people were literally bugging out. People were bugging out. I'm feeling their anxiety. I'm feeling their stuff. Like just who's coming, who's in the field, who's over here, oh, who's over there, and just being able to non-verbally communicate with people. They're coming in, they're literally just yelling at me as I'm just like completely peaceful and zen. I'm having strangers run up to me and just yelling at me frantically that they need me to be kind. I'm not making this up. And speaking of being kind, just today at the gym, and your brother Michael, where are you at? I think he's hiking somewhere right now because he's up in Sedona. He'll see this later. Love you, brother. I literally had a mental conversation. There was the cutest little lizard is in the locker room today. And I go up to it because I was like, I had to talk to it. I had the cup to put the lizard in. So yeah, take the spiders and all these insects and things outside. We don't crush them unless there's like really a bad problem. But I see the lizard and I go down, I crouch down, and I look at him and I go, with my mind, I'm like, you're going to die in here. I can safely take you outside, I promise. And he literally, I swear to you guys, this is a true story. He goes like this. The second I get close to him, he goes, you ever see the lizard look at you all pissed off? He's like, and then I go like this. I'm like, I mentally send to him, I'm going to take you outside. And he goes, and let me slowly put the cup on top of him. Like he didn't run off. I didn't have to catch him. It was first try. I just went like that. And he goes in the cup. I put you want to put something firm under it, like a postcard, something safe that you don't hurt their feet, or but you can like slowly shimmy it and then like kind of shake the cup and the spider will run on the paper. Then there's a process. Alexander figured out a process. And I'm sure many of you have, because this is how our souls are communicating with us. Like, stop. That's an aspect of yourself. Don't crush it. I know so many people hate spiders. I get it. There's a gnarly whole story there for another day also. But anyways, I get the lizard, I take him outside and I put him down. I just had to tell this story really quick. I put him down. He doesn't run off. I swear to you guys, this is what I saw. This literally happened. The lizard goes, he turns around, he looks at me, he goes, he smiled. I saw a lizard smile. No, he's absolutely sober like a gopher. Haven't even drank in a beer in over a month. Use your hands, Catherine. There might be some salmonella on some of the lizards. I would be careful with that, but just make sure you wash your hands. That's all I know. Don't touch it and then yeah. To each their own. I love you so much, Catherine. Always remember to ask your doctor before watching Galactic Tarot, and always ask your doctor before eating grapefruit, especially eating grapefruit. Moving on, Catherine. I love you so much. I had to. I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Catherine! Gaboosh! I was first. I called her at midnight. It was weird, but it wasn't. I love it. Anyways, moving on. So that subject is done after the integration. So, star forts. Here we are, 2245. World, hold on. Okay, so now whether these star forts once existed under trees, which is what I saw, or whether these star forts were to mimic trees, let's pull up our folder once again. All right, where is it? Bam, there we go. We're sharing the screen. Let's go to Portugal, my family. Let's take a little quick trip right back past Prescott. Once again, there it is. That is what you call a tree stump, my family. So just to do a quick recap before I get to the next part, just one other time, this is what Spirit showed me. Spirit showed me these massive trees were here. Okay, no, I'm not giving you the arm Italian style. Spirit showed me these massive trees, and the one thing that all the dogmas, all the religions, everybody agrees on is a deluge, is a flood. You know, this is in South America, this is in Europe, this is in all over the world. This is all over the world. Like, I need to talk about this. So the water. Okay, so what's going to happen when water comes in is the water is going to come in, okay, and it's eventually going to settle. And this is science. Let's talk about science for a second. This bottom part of the tree would fossilize. This would fossilize. You know, we see this with shark teeth. We see this with all these things that go under the water or go into certain dirts or certain environments, and things turn to rock. Okay, something as porous and as soft as wood would definitely turn to rock, and we have this all over the place. We call it fossilized wood. There's stones that we're like, that's wood. So anyways, looking at this, we would have water here. This part would fossilize. This part would still be wood. The waves hit, the waves hit, the waves hit. Eventually, the tree falls over. So this is what was being shown to me with these star forts. And let's just take a look at this. Now, let's see. Now, so we're going to go to a star fort in Portugal. Now, this was built on a hill, okay? So to build something that is geometrically perfect, to have this perfect, beautiful structure, when this was built before helicopters, this was built before having an aerial view. To build something this perfect so quickly, it's just not possible. It's just not possible. Like, we couldn't do this now. And you'll see how this shape is actually in the earth. And doesn't this look like the bottom of a tree? So I'm wondering if this was to support some tree that was grown on top. Can you see the mouse cursor moving around, my family? I'm not sure if you can, but just picture with these beautiful shapes that these are all over the world. And some of these forts say, you know, it's just like the government will just put like a cannon on top. And they're like, well, we have all these angles to make sure that when the cannons were fired at the wall, it would skim off the wall. Do you know how moronic that is? Literally, all you have to do is move the cannon and the wall is still flat. Like this, like, who is believing this? I got nothing. Who's believing this? I'm just sorry. If you're believing this, I don't have any words. So with these star forts, what I was seeing, I was watching some special on it, on the star forts. I can't remember now. I'll have to tag it later in the comments, because I didn't even hear about these. But when I saw them, I haven't heard anybody say that these star forts existed under trees, and that's what I saw. So whether or not these existed under trees or these were to mimic trees, there is some serious magic taking place here. There is some serious, just beautiful, beautiful architecture and something very sacred taking place here. And this was not as a military base. I'm sorry, family. There's no way. Tune in on it. Feel it out. Don't take my word for it. Sit with it yourself. Okay, so moving forward from here, you see this beautiful structure. It was also in the thumbnail today. Thank you, Portugal, or AKA Druids. Now we're going to do a little bit of reading. The Nossa Senhora da Graça Fort, officially Conde de Lipe Fort, and known historically as La Lipe, is an 18th century fort in the village of Alacova, Portugal. This is where we get to the good part. Its prominent position atop Monte da Graça, Hill of Grace, made it an important stronghold during the 7 Years' War, BS, War of the Oranges, BS, yeah, maybe the Orange Trees, and the Peninsula War. The fort is part of the garrison border of Elvas. There's the word again, the elves. So once again, we're going back to Series B now, whether it's Series B or Series C. We're having these hybridized alien, if you will, starseed versions of ourselves. And here's this number. Here's this number 11. Here's this name. Here's this starseed. Here's this nature elemental, the elves right there again. So now we're going to get to the good part. Okay. So now we're going to read through some BS to get to the truth here, but just what's known about this place. Because this is something I can show you in my, I don't know if I've showed this on Patreon. I'm not going to open it up, but this is the OG journal. You know, I'll show you the first page just to show you how long this has existed for. That says August 1st, 2010. Were there downloads before then? Of course they were. There were downloads, there were uploads. This is when I just started to write about my spiritual journey, my family. But why am I showing you this? All right. In this book, I talked about before Cosmic Awakening, and some of you that have been following me for a while know this. I talk about how when I got into Inner Earth, when I got into Agartha, and so many of you have seen this, and this is validated in season 2 of Cosmic Disclosure. Watch all those shows at your own risk. I love you guys so much. I love you all so much. I don't want to save everybody. I don't even care. I'm not even going to save. I'm just going to keep going and just be like, hey, there's tree branches and there's help along the way. Anyways, love you all so freaking much. I say none of this with even the 1% of disrespect. what will be shown there is talking about these Agarthans, whatever you call them, the Anshar, this, that, whatever you want to call the inner earth. When I got down there, I saw square-shaped pools. Like a square, and a square, and there was water made of light, and what was coming off of it was gas made of light. And Spirit would have me go there all the time. And then if here's Canada, it's somewhere around this region is where I was. And the sky was actually open up, and it wouldn't be open up to a plane, like a plane wouldn't be able to see in, but there was some sort of like fake foliage, much like Black Panther, where you had to go through these tunnels and tunnels and tunnels. Like you couldn't actually go through the ceiling, but you could see the stars somehow. I mean, they obviously have very ancient and what would be priceless technology down there. But Spirit was having me way back in like 2009, 2010, go into these pools. I didn't know what I was looking at. All I knew was, and on Cosmic Disclosure, we see these people wearing clothes. They're wearing the white. Nobody had clothes on there. I saw very, very beautiful people with white hair, and I just knew. I was like, I didn't even trust my brain. I was like, keep your chin up. I knew that if I even took one glance at a body and had a wrong thought, I was going to be thrust back into my body. So I would literally just like sit there like this, or sit there with my eyes closed. I would just look up at the stars. But they would have me for months go to this water made of light. So I've never found it in physicality is what I'm getting at. So some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you have found this in your own meditations, your own out-of-body experiences, activating your Merkabas, whatever you're doing, your astral travel, your dream time. Some of you have seen this water made of light that I speak of. And like I said, the brother Corey Good was talking about it all these years ago. It was one of the main reasons I was like, we gotta get this guy for the first event we all did together. So let's read this here. There is a reservoir constantly supplied with water, sufficient for the garrison of 2,000 men for 2 years. I got to get through the BS, like I said. And stores of corn and provisions for that time are also laid up. There is a mill within the walls for grinding corn and an oven for baking sufficient bread, so that as there are no means for taking the fort by treachery, or there are no means of, you're underneath a tree. So there had to be, sorry, shaman burps, this is making me burp. You're under a tree, so there had to be sufficient ways of living under the tree, and maybe not milling corn, but milling the aspects of the trees, of the sap, of these underground waters, of the way that we lived with nature as like basically like borderline breatharians that were extensions of the trees, that were extensions of this druid, if you will, metaphysical technology. So I'm going to keep on reading here. Because it says, by fort, by means of treachery, surprise, or famine, the siege of Lalipe must be a work of patience, not to mention the loss, for as besieged will be perfectly safe within their walls, so will be the besiegers, I'm almost through the BS, be completely exposed to the fire of the garrison. Though surrounded on three sides by hills, okay, how do you build something this perfectly geometric on top of a hill? Like, I don't think anyone can do this now. They are all too low and too well commanded by the fort to admit of any annoyance from them. Here we go. We're getting to the good stuff. There is a curious circumstance in natural history connected with Fort Lalipe, a well which is of amazing depth, yields water, which mixes readily with oil. I'm not so sure about the oil, but it says mixes readily with oil and produces a thick fluid resembling milk, but the flavor of which is disagreeable. My God. Okay, so let me shut this down for a second. All right. There he is. He's back again. Okay. So now we just found this hidden under the ground Argothian waters that I've never found anywhere. I've never heard anyone talk about these being found physical. And does anyone want to talk about why? Anytime a well is dug, humanity has always gone to the lowest point. Why and how would they know at the top of this large hill, which literally says Mont, which is basically probably means it was some sort of mountain or something. Why would somebody go through a mountain to dig a well straight down? And I know you could say, oh, it's a military advantage or whatever it is. It's just like, It's so ridiculous. Like, this has nothing to do with cannon fire. This has nothing to do. This only has to do with the fact that these were built by ancient people, and this had to be wrapped around this like 1800s French Revolutionary War. All this BS, all this information had to be wrapped around these thought structures because of the fact that why are these here? What are they doing here? There needed to be an excuse for stuff like this to exist. There needed to be an excuse for these to be all over the world, these perfect geometric structures, which probably had an effect to work with the tree, is what I saw. But even if they weren't to work with the tree, let's just go through these star forts, and then we're going to talk about Atlantis. But let's go through these star forts here, my family. All right, we already saw those slides. But these are all over. These are all over America. These are all over the world. And they're usually, like, it seems like 99 times out of 100, they're right next to the ocean or they're right next to a water source. You're always going to see water, because trees need water. Okay, let's keep going. So there's another one. There's another one with the water. That's pretty beautiful. So I think that one's in Europe or something. But yeah, we're just going to keep going through these. You guys can get absolutely lost in these. So these are like, some of these are massive, massive cities on top of cities that there's no reason for these to have been there. The population of these towns when these were said to have been built, and how big and massive these are, the numbers aren't there, my family. When we have a mathematical formula, you have proof. Math is what proves things. Why would we need all this space when there was nobody? Like, they couldn't have built this stuff on horse and buggy. I'm sorry, look at how beautiful these are. And these are clearly shaped like a root system. They're clearly shaped like some sort of tree. So we're going to keep on going, because I believe some of these are still hidden under the earth, under the trees. But I think some of them, the tree just more gracefully rotted off the top. And there needed to be an explanation for why these are here. Once again, why would somebody build this on a hill? Why would somebody build this on a hill? Okay. And I'm sure you're picturing some other ones right here in the States that have the same shape. Okay. Look at how beautiful this is. Like, this is not art. These are actual places there's grass on top, and these were fit for life. These were fit for grounding roots and all this energy. Oh, look at that one. Oh, welcome. There's Isis. I mean, what's her name? The Statue of Liberty. So I'm just going through these at my own pace, showing you these until I get back around. We're back around. Bam. Shut that down. Shut that. We're done for that. Actually, let me just check this folder one more time. See if there's anything else that needs to be shown. Oh yeah, no, just really quickly, I wanted to show this. So this is just, you can go nuts with just what's underneath these forts. What are we even looking at here, family? Like, who has the technology to build this right now? Like, why would stuff like this be in America? Like, why would we have needed this to fight the French? Like, what? Like, and first of all, if there was a star fort, okay, I'm gonna shut this down. Sorry, I get excited. All right. So if there was a star fort, why would boats would just stay out and shoot cannons, if this is really the truth, and people would just go around, like the fort would be surrounded. Like, the walls aren't high enough. Like, none of this makes any sense. Like I said, sit with this yourselves and get what you get from it. But from the white water and this, how if the internet and Wikipedia and all these things are saying how incredibly deep the well is that goes to this white water, like, where was the technology to make a well that deep? And I'd love to know. There's some in Greenland, Barney. I'd love to know exactly how deep that well is, but I'm sure that all this stuff is locked up. Like, just like you saw that last picture, which is under the sequoia forest, these gemstone caverns, all this stuff that there's no scientific explanation, and it's just this whole like BS thought structures of what was here. And I mean, just, you can even, like, some of this information, if you research Tartaria, whether that's the name or whatnot, when you see this stuff and you hear about the Chicago World Fair, and like you hear about this, all these stuff in these buildings that you see them tearing down, and you hear about these buildings that were built, but there's no there's no footage, and even though cameras existed, there's no proof that these were built. They'll put scaffolding up on the sides to like trick people, but it's like where there's no, you can't even move that stone column. And how did a village of 250 people or even less do that with horse and buggies? It's just so silly. So there is Starfort. So now we're going to go 3944. 3944. So once again, everybody's got their different view on Atlantis. Every single person here has, you got water, you saw meteorites, I saw fire, I saw this. The view I had on Atlantis is different from my view now of what Spirit showed me now. But what Spirit showed me now was much like Avatar. It was this big, gigantic tree that we all thrived from, we all lived from, that was literally riddled with caves. Like these trees were so powerful. There were ways that hundreds of thousands of people could live in one tree. This was massive structure of what is and what was, in my opinion, in this present moment. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt. I'm sure you have your own opinion on what Atlantis was and your vision on what this was. And the main gist with Atlantis, Lemuria, and all these previous civilizations is to learn history, learn her story, more like it. We don't care about his story anymore. It's a bunch of BS. Who wrote the story? Who won the war? That's a fact in life. But to actually get to her story, the goddess's story, Gaia's story, whatever you want to call it, original creator of your soul, casting a spell that can only get to the right and appropriate place, which for me is just exactly that. The feminine, going through the feminine and healing the feminine and getting through the feminine to the inner child to put this trifecta of energy together to have this information. So when I saw Atlantis and I saw us as these beings that barely ate, like literally it was like the tree, we would speak with the tree because we were extensions of the tree, and it would be like, here's the sap you take and you eat, here's the water that you drink, and this water, this white water that they're saying the taste is terrible. Of course you're going to say the taste is terrible because you don't want anybody to drink it, because if people started drinking that water under that fort in Portugal, I don't even know what would happen to that being. And it's like, I'm not suggesting that people go out and get in there, break their way in there and drink that water. But I'm saying that I would drink that water. I get a big thumbs up from Spirit. I'm drinking that water and this terrible taste. I would just love to see how little food I need to eat. If I could get just like, maybe like a bucket a day of that water, which is inside the planet, which could just be the very life force of these trees, of nature itself. So once again, and if we sit with this, it might like make some of you that really have a lot of this Celtic blood, have a lot of this energy from Pegasus or the Pleiades or certain Syrian places where it was traumatizing to watch that tree fall in that movie Avatar. And this is just part of disclosure. Some of the disclosure is shown to us in like almost like it's hidden. Like, that's not a moon, that's a space station. But like we start off the Star Wars movie with saying a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah, sure, whatever. A lot of this stuff, because some of it is left right in plain sight intentionally to disclose, but some of it is left in plain sight almost as like disclosing, but not at the same time. And that's, I love you, brother James Cameron. I love all you guys, wherever you are on your journey of activation and ascension. I have love for all these beings, but I do not believe that this movie was shown to heal that. I don't believe that this movie was shown, in my own personal opinion, when I tune in on my body, I do not believe that this was shown to us as disclosure. I think it was like disclosure, but not. So just in case we found out about this stuff, we'd feel, but you can't make up the emotion of all these people programming the reality, programming people to say, you tree-hugging hippies, and saying like, nature's bad. Like, this was all like frowned upon for hundreds and hundreds of years, where it's like, what if I was hugging a tree? That's the easiest and best way to clear your body. And anytime I was at Conscious Life Expo, I can't tell you how much time I spent out in LA with that like small tree out in front of the Hilton off to the left. Spirit would have me go outside. Oh, go outside, and keep grounding and just touching my right hand because it's, it's energy in, energy out, as we've talked about before. So you take money with one hand, give it with the other. These expressions are talking about this magic with a K on my nights and days. And I would have to go out and grab this tree and ground my energy because dealing with 12,000 people, 13, like all these people, I had to go out there and spirit would have me ground because of the roots. And I thought this was just to access a larger torsion field of these trees. But this is stuff we've all been doing. And a lot of us have been like programmed or almost like manipulated to be like, oh, that's bad. Tree hugging hippie. Don't hug the trees. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like hate yourself, essentially, because this was part of the plan. I'm sorry. I just really believe this. And I just know, being from Rhode Island, that's the original state that I came from. This is the island of Rhodes. It is said that when Atlantis fell into the ocean, not sank into the ocean, the stories say Atlantis fell into the ocean. So if Atlantis was this tree that was maybe on top of one of these star forts, or was maybe in Ireland, or was maybe in America, or was maybe somewhere else, it doesn't really matter where the tree was or if it was a tree. All I know is this is what Spirit's having me say to you guys. This is philosophy in general, and these structures and these people in days of old that are the powers that were, because you are the powers that be now, don't want you to think. They want you to work. And that's right there in that John Rockefeller quote of whatever, just I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. And what is thinking? Thinking is a form of philosophy. And I just broke down that word for the other day. You know what? Let's pop it up again, just in case if somebody didn't catch that video. Let's share the screen again. Let's open up this folder. Let's go right here. And let's break down the definition of philo with etymology. You know what your brother loves to do so much. Philo, to love, loving, filled with love. Okay. And then we'll skip to the next one. Sophia. To all my Sophia dragons out there and everybody who's integrated their Orange Phoenix, love you all so much. Wisdom, specifically divine wisdom. Oh my God. So filled with loving divine wisdom is what is being attempted in the past to be avoided by so many. Welcome, Joshua. Joshua says he lives in a tree house in New Hampshire, where the man on the mountain was. Rest in peace to the man on the mountain, whether that was knocked off or fell off naturally. So the last thing I'd like to talk about with all of this stuff is Babel. Okay, so whenever we see a drawing or a picture or anything that was related to the Tower of Babel, this doesn't make sense, my family. Okay, so if Babel was not a tree, okay, and some force, Zeus, Jove, whatever, I don't even want to point the finger. What if it was innocent also? Like we always in life, and this is what I send from my heart to yours, because to me, love is the only real house of magic. And I know this used to trigger a lot of people. Alexander only talks about love. That's all that matters. Like if you were one of the people that said that, I hope you're not still like that lost. But anyways, how would it be possible? Because the base would have to keep getting bigger as this building kept going up. So when we see these Tower of Babel, it's always a spiral. Okay. That's how a tree grows. So eventually this would get so narrow, it's not possible to keep growing. So to me, Atlantis was a tree and this Tower of Babel was a tree. And to have this word Babel, where do we hear this? To babble on, to babble on. So basically pointless words. But this, my family, this is when there was only one language. This is that old language of the trees. This is what's been attempted to be kept from people, like all these spells. And those are my favorite words, being like an etymologist or upper dimensional etymologist, whatever the heck you want to call it, being somebody that knows that the words are spells because you taught me how to spell, and knowing that when I connect the letters of the spell, that is a cursive, because some of these words are broken. Once again, subject for another day, but just to leave with this babble. So if this was a tree, it would continue to grow. This is like Jack and the Beanstalk. This is these structures, these plateaus you're seeing. Like I said, please, if you're seeing this and you're like, oh my God, this is epic, refer to the first episode of this, which I will link in the description when I put up these. Oh, and I put up these little chapter numbers that I have right here. And I'm sure Zoe, I'm sure Sister Veronique has been writing them down as well. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Thank you all so very much. Yeah, it's just been my pleasure to be here with you guys, and just sit with it. Just sit with it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you have to believe what I'm believing. I'm not even telling you that I'm going to necessarily believe this, which I mean, it sings in every cell of my body. I believe I will be believing this in the future, but I just know that my belief structure has changed many times, and that's part of going through the spiritual reality and ascending out of distortion is this growth. So, I mean, just please please make sense out of the Tower of Babel. If this was not something that was organically growing and something that was frowned upon, how else would it be possible? Seriously. So it's like Atlantis, whatever, we'll leave it over there. But the Tower of Babel, that's a dead giveaway for me. And once again, when we find something that's like tree hugging hippie, this thing, when the finger's being pointed, when we're told that something is evil, something is dark, something is, and this isn't said nowadays. I don't know if you can't even use the word nowadays, but for my generation, I know he looks good for his age, but for my generation, it was like, oh, that's gay. That's gay. You couldn't do that. You couldn't say that. You couldn't wear color. It was like, what was, and that was loving nature was like something that like the men would make fun of you for. I've had people literally yell at me, tree hugging hippie, because they could see me sun gazing. I was literally just standing there with my shoes off, and I would have cars go by and yell gnarly stuff from waking up in this density of the East Coast between New York City and Boston. So I know this. So I leave you guys with this. I let you know I love you all so much. None of this was to trigger in any way, shape, or form. I'm letting you know my own views. I'm sharing my downloads, how I'm maintaining my reality and continue to ascend out of this reality where I hear a lot of people saying higher selves, and your brother calls them other dimensional versions, because how else do we continue to integrate and continue to ascend? Thank you for watching. Please gently caress the like button. If you're not subscribed, do the things that make the dings and jingle the bells so you will be alerted when we go live, because some of these videos are definitely being shown, and then some of them have a more title that's not being shown. So yeah, ring the bell, and I love you all so much. SedonaStarseed.com if you want to come out. This is like literally more and more epic people, and the website needs to be updated. But yeah, SedonaStarseed.com. We got Matt Kahn, Sandra Walters, so much epic stuff. I hope you guys come. It's going to be a party. And crystalcurrent.com for your epic energy tools. The new Halloween special is up, and also all of your favorite crystal skulls are highly discounted, because Halloween's my favorite holiday, because I love getting dressed up and having fun and being able to be my other dimensional versions once again. So integrate, my family. Get it all done. I love you all so much. If you want to book a session or talk to Alexander personally, galactictower.com. It'll all be in the description down below. I love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you all so much. Cheers, my family. I will see you in just about 48 hours or so for the half-monthly reading where we sometimes talk about love. I love you guys so much. Thank you. See you soon. More epic topics coming up very soon. Patrons, I'll see you Sunday. Love you.